craps table and he's rolling the bones. He says, "Come on, Mama needs a new pair of shoes." Well, Daddy needs a new air conditioner.
Exactly. Good luck with that, and take care, Marco.
All right, buddy.
All right, now to close out the show, we have our buddy Cub fan Danny to come back and break down a huge event this weekend, UFC 238. What's happening, Danny?
Hey, what's up, TS? Good to be back, man. Good to be back.
Oh, it's been a minute. But you know how it is. Things slow down a little bit in the summer. But hey, man, we're still studying up. I'm sure you're going to have some NFL stuff for us later. And,
yes, for sure.
And UFC is what we're focusing on now, man. And I'm excited. It seems like the usual suspects, in some ways, are in this on this card. Why don't you quick go over some of the main fights?
Yeah, this is going to be a fun card this weekend, right? We got Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes going up for that bantamweight championship belt that's been vacated because T.J. Dillashaw was popped with probably one of the worst steroids you could do, right? So that one's vacated. So Henry Cejudo's coming up, and it's going to be a good fight. We've got Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy, and Donald Cerrone going to be fighting. Mm-hmm. El Cucuy, man, he's both of these guys are bangers. That's going to be a great fight, right? I've got Valentina Shevchenko's going to be fighting. I absolutely love watching her fight.
I feel like Shevchenko. I feel like Valentina is in every single podcast that we end up doing.
It's funny. She fights a lot. She's a fun fighter to watch, right? She's at the top. She's one of the best girls out there. She really does a good job. So she's good. Aljamain Sterling's going to be fighting this weekend. I really enjoy watching him fight. Jimmy Rivera. He was a guy at one point had a 20-fight win streak going on, so he's going to be fighting this weekend. So it's going to be a good card. It's an ESPN Plus pay-per-view event, right? So if you can't order through your cable anymore, you got to go to get ESPN Plus, then you could order it through them. So if you're looking for the fight, but in any case, yeah, it's going to be a good card, and it's definitely worth the watch.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like it, and the UFC is doing a great job there. So putting on a lot of good fighters against each other lately. That's what I've been noticing. So
they've been doing that a lot. Yeah, they've been doing a great job so far.
Absolutely.
This year.
Well, cool, man. Well, why don't we get started? Let's get right into. Well, I don't know if you have any plays on some of the undercards or the lower fights in this, or what do you think?
You know what? I'm going to start. Listen. I want to start at the first fight here, the main event fight. To me, this is where I want to start tonight, right? Or today, going with Marlon Moraes and Henry Cejudo. Like I mentioned before, it's for the vacant bantamweight title at 135 pounds. Listen, this fight opened up at minus 175 for Moraes and plus 150 for Cejudo, right? Boy, man, these odds have really shifted, and most of the money's come on Cejudo, right? So here's where it's at right now. Moraes has dropped to minus 125. So right now you can see the money coming in on Cejudo, and he's sitting in the books at minus 105, minus 110 now. So he went from a heavy underdog to, pretty much even fight right now, and they're both minus money. So, listen, I like Cejudo a lot, right? He beat Demetrius Johnson at 125 pounds to end the streak, the Demetrius streak of like 10 title shots, defenses in a row. And he ended up KOing T.J. Dillashaw. Dillashaw goes from 135 down to 125. He KO'd him in less than 10 seconds, right, to keep his title. So he's got a good streak going, right? He's got some power in his hands. And I think coming up to 135 pounds is going to help him out a lot more because he's not going to have to cut weight. I think it's going to give him a little bit more power in his hands, right? And on top of it, he's a gold medal winning wrestler, right? So he does have that elite takedown defense and takedown offense there, so he can take the guys down, keep them down, and do some ground and pound. So I like that about Cejudo. But what I don't like, he hasn't done enough for me, right? So he's at 125 pounds. That competition is weak, right? And let's face it, there's nobody good in that division. It was Demetrius Johnson. That's it. And there's nobody in that. In fact, Dana White wanted to get rid of that 125-pound weight class in the worst way. And, it just doesn't draw. The champs don't draw, right? The fights go the distance. It's just not a fun thing to watch. So for him going up to 135 pounds to a much better weight class with much better fighters, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Okay, now Marlon Moraes is coming in hot, and when I mean hot, I mean he's killing everybody. He has only 5 fights in the UFC. He came in 2017. He's got some very good stand-up. He's got great ground game. His only loss in the UFC was his first fight, and then to Assanio, and he actually beat Assanio in his last fight in he choked him out. Okay, so he defended his first loss. He came back, but man, he's killing guys, knocking them out, putting great power in. As much as I like Cejudo as a person and a fighter, I have to lay the chalk and take Moraes in this fight. I think he's hungry. He's determined to win that title at 135 pounds. So I'm going to lay the chalk right now and take Moraes. And you can do some shopping a little bit, and you can get about a minus 125. But I have it I like it there with Moraes.
Will more money come in on Cejudo and possibly make that Moraes line even sweeter? Possibly plus.
That's a great question, and that's at this weight class with these fighters. They're not very well known. I mean, Cejudo's probably more well known than Moraes, so I could see a little bit more money coming out to him. It's going to be a lot of hype coming in because obviously his last fight with TJ, and he beat TJ before that, so I could see a little bit more coming on. But I don't see the line changing much more than it is now. But if it does drop and Moraes, you get it. If you want to wait a little bit more, I think that you can get a little bit better of a number there for yourself. But I'm okay with jumping on it right now, minus 125.
Well, there you go. Right to the main event, my man. Not mess around.
Yeah.
Love it. Perfect.
That's the main event. Now, that doesn't mean it's my main event, okay?
Right.
Really, my main event is my next fight here I want to talk to you about, and it's Tony Ferguson. He's El Cucuy versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. But these guys love to bang. I absolutely love both of these guys. And here's another one of those fights, right, that the odds have shifted a lot, right? Opening line for Ferguson was minus 245, and Cerrone's coming in at plus 175. Right now, you can get Ferguson at minus 140 and Cerrone at plus 120. So you can see how much money's come in on Cerrone. Okay, look, I love Cerrone. The crowd loves Cerrone. I think that's why the line drops so much, because people absolutely love him, right? He loves to fight. I see him fight one time, and 3 weeks later fight again. And I thought it was like a replay that they were showing of a different fight, but sure enough, the guy. So he absolutely loves to fight, right? He'll stand and he'll bang with you. He loves to finish fights. This is a former kickboxer. He's a boxer. He's just a fighter, okay? Unbelievable, tough as nails, right? He'll stand and throw with you, and just I can't talk how great the guy is to watch him fight, right? Mm-hmm. But at this point in his career, man, it's tough to trust his chin. He scares me. He went through a rough patch and then came back. He does not look like the same fighter he was, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. The guy's just taken a beating over the years. It's because of so many fights he's taken, right? So I'm nervous. Is his chin going to hold up? I don't know, right? And that makes it very difficult for me to like Cerrone. But Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy, I absolutely love the guy, right? He's had some bad luck. He was the champion. And if you didn't know this, he tripped in a freak accident, right, and ripped his knee up on a Fox Sports cable wiring 2 days before the fight, and he blew his knee out, right? So
I did hear about that.
Yeah, it was a freak accident. The guy comes back, and you know what he did? He ended up taking the rehab into his own hands. He didn't go into any physical therapist. He did it in his own hands. He came back sooner than anybody expected. And last fall, he had a fight. He absolutely beat up Anthony Pettis, right? I love Ferguson, right? Because he stands and he throws. He starts slow, right? He's a slow starter. He can get rocked a little bit in the beginning, so it worries me just a little bit. Gets past that first round, and after that, he's nails, right? But let me tell you this much: even if you paid $60 just for this fight, it's worth it because these guys are going to throw. So in this fight, I think Ferguson's going to really have his he wants to get back into that title contention. He wants to fight for the belt here, and I think he's going to put everything out there. I think he's going to end Cerrone early, but I'm going to lay the chalk in this one and be safe at minus 140. I think it's probably going to drop a little bit more, so you could probably at one point get it at a minus 120. But I think laying the chalk here on Ferguson is another good bet.
Well, there you go, man. Looks like kind of the same situation here. Lay the chalk, possibly wait a little bit for the public money to come in on Cerrone, since everybody loves him. So, definitely love that. And I do remember him tripping. Was he supposed to fight Khabib or something? It was something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah. He was supposed to fight. I believe it was Khabib. I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Khabib fight. He was supposed. Yes, that was it. And then Anthony Pettis was maybe going to fight Khabib, and that didn't happen. Anyways, long story short, he was out and he lost his belt, right, because he got hurt. So, but I think he's hungry, and I like the guy. He stands up, he fights, and he's going to throw, and he's not going to bore you at all. So,
any props on that one? Is it worth to look at a prop like under 2.5 or they go the distance? What do you think is going to happen?
If anything, I would look at El Kukui ending it early with the KO. I can't see either one of these guys ending this with a submission. If it's going to go down, it's going to go down with a TKO. So that would probably be the one prop bet I would look at, and it would under 2.5 is more likely than going the full distance. So that's a good prop bet.
Is it a 3-round event?
3-round fight.
All right, so there you go. Under 2.5 is what we're looking at here. Well, let's look into the Shevchenko here, since she's in every single one of our podcasts. We have to talk about her a little bit, but look at her number, not so attractive anymore. Minus 1,300 to win $100. It's a hell of a heck. She can slip and hit her head on the ground and screw you over on this bet. That's a lot to lay.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. Listen, looking at this is a 5-round fight. Look, under 4.5 rounds, right? So if Valentina is going to end this early, you can get some plus money on there. We're looking at plus 105 in some sites. Okay, if you think that they're going to go the distance, right, and if Shevchenko's the one that's going to go the distance, your odds are going to be a little bit better here, right? We're looking at
minus 135 to go the distance over 4.5, and plus 105 to go under. And so, and I know that weight that they're at was at 115, something like that. They usually do go the distance. 125 actually looks like they were fighting.
Yeah, she's a baller. She could throw, and I really like her. I mean, look. Shevchenko, I'm looking here by unanimous decisions at plus 175, right? That number's dropped a little bit, but that's she wins 3 out of 5 in every one of the cards, and it's unanimous. That's not a bad prop to look at. The minus 1,300 is not even worth taking a look at, right? Under 4.5 is good if you like her to knock her out, which I love her. I think she's a great fighter. I really enjoy watching her, so that's one. Or even if you think that, hey, look, man, this is, the girls typically, they go the distance, right? And Shevchenko's been one that really been putting people away, but you say going the distance, right? You can find on some sites for plus 175 for unanimous decision. So I like that as well.
Yeah. She did. I think she did go the distance and burn me on the last one too. I think it was the night Holloway faced Ortega. She she did go the distance against Johanna. Yeah, that's who it was. And
I want to give you my upset special, Kim. Sorry I cut you off.
No, fantastic. Let's go.
I want to give you an upset special here, right? So here's my last fight that I'm really going to give you guys here. But the fight, this is Jimmy Rivera and Peter Yan. All right, the fight opened up with Rivera at plus 165 and Yan at minus 215. Right now, you get Rivera at plus 285 and Yan at minus 350. So all this money, you can see how much money is being poured in on Peter Yan, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the deal. Peter Yan is a very young fighter. He's got fantastic boxing. I think it's really good. He's got great footwork. His background is in boxing, so his stand-up is pretty solid. But for him to be such a favorite is mind-boggling, right? Jimmy Rivera, here's a guy that had 20 fights in a row that he didn't lose, and he was fighting against top competition. He ran into a little bit of a tough streak here, but he's been fighting the top guys. Where Peter Yan has been fighting jobbers, right, in the wrestling world, some of the jobbers, the lower end level guys. But Jimmy Rivera's been fighting the best of the best, right? So he's lost a couple fights. He lost one, lost two in a row, won one.